Hi, Ken with Zero, and today I'm going to show you how to install the new Chicane grips on a 24 and up Street Glide or Road Glide or the 23 CVO. Anyway, let's get going. They're very simple and it's a really great way to enhance your riding. So let's get right into it. Just as a precaution, before you get going on this, put something over your tank and your fender in case you drop a screw or a bolt or something, or a wrench, God forbid. And I also like to take, I'm just going to take a little rag here. We're working on a new Road Glide. I'm just going to slide it in there just like that, because we're going to remove this whole apparatus here in the brake, and we're going to lay right here. We're going to kind of pull it down, lay it upside down, starting off by removing these two bolts right here, and these are T27s. And you want to set these aside because you're going to use them again. Now, as you can see, this is loose. We're going to pull this off and just kind of lay it right there on the fairing, because now we've got to disconnect the two halves of this control housing here. So now we've got to separate the two halves here so that we can access the grip itself, the stock grip, to remove it. There's a screw here and a screw here, and these are both Torx T20s. We're going to pull those out real quick. And I'm going to try to keep these inside of the holes here so I don't have to take them apart completely, so I don't lose them. But then this simply comes apart just like so. There's a little notch on the side where the wire goes. You'll need to know about that in a minute. We'll show you that. We'll set that aside. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take out this plug here and this plug here. To do that, you need a little pick, something like this. You simply just kind of push that little tab in and down. You can see it starts to come out. You shouldn't have to force it. Now that's all that's holding this up, so you want to make sure you're holding onto your brakes and master cylinder here too. That'll pop out. Then this one right here, same thing. Just push in right there. That'll pop out. Just like that. There we go. Now this is disconnected completely. All right. There we go. Now I'm going to fold this down and just put it on the tank to get it out of the way for the moment. There we go. Now, with those all untangled, so once you have the grip off like this, there's a couple things you want to notice. One, see this little tab right here? This sits in that notch, and this ring right here sits in this groove. Now the new Zero grips, the new Chicane grips, of course, are the same way. So you want to slide that in that groove there, and make sure that that's locked in up here before you slide it on the bar. Then we're going to slide this on the bar like so. We're going to re-plug in these two guys. We're going to flip this back up to here now. These only go in one way, so you can't mess it up, don't worry. Now, this right here, remember I told you about this little tab to keep an eye on? Here we go. That sits inside of, there's a notch right under there, and you'll feel it as it goes through. It'll slide in that notch, and then you can tie that up together there. Now we're going to replace the backer. Now again, you want to make sure that that wire goes through the notch, and this will slide right back up. We'll just get those started. There we go, get the drill. Now don't go too tight on these and strip them, because you can do that. These just need to be snugly on there. There we go. Next, we'll have to flip around and place this back on, and be very careful not to pinch this wire behind here. You want this wire to run underneath. The rest of these wires fit through the notch, but this one, the brake wire, runs underneath. So you're going to go like that, and I'm just going to walk around. I'll put these screws back in, like so. Now just make sure that's all where you want it. Yeah, we're good. And I like to tighten the top one first. Then you know that's snug up on top and it'll look good, and then come in and tighten the bottom. So we'll go back and torque those in a minute, but let's double check and make sure everything's working the way it's supposed to. Okay, on, off. We've got that going on, excellent. So now we can move over to the left side. Just like we did on the right side, the left side here, we're going to start by removing this perch here with the two Torx T27s. Again, take the bottom one out first, set it aside. I'm going to take this one, and let me grab my rag too and put it up here, just to be sure that we don't scratch anything when we lay this down. I'll take that top one off and hold on to this when you're doing this part. There we go. This will come off and just kind of, I'll try to stick the mirror in here. Get that to sit down like that a little bit. We're going to take off this screw here and this screw here, and then remove this cover. Again, I'd hold these together as you're doing this, just to make sure that nothing falls. And then we're going to take this back plate off. You'll see everything's pretty much loose now. There we go, set that aside. And then this is going to just slide off. You can unplug this one right here too to make things a little bit easier. Again, using your little pin thing here. Just kind of pop that out. Once it starts to move, you can yank that out like that. There we go. Now that's loose. We can slide this out carefully. Now note on here, you have these notches. So you have a slot right here, but you also have a notch there that's going to line up with one of these notches like that. So that when you put the new one on, you want to be sure to line that up. So again, you've got this ridge and those notches. See those notches? That's the important part. Make sure that all lines up, and then it won't turn or anything. I can slide that whole assembly back on here and plug this guy back in. We're going to put the backing plate back on. Again, make sure you don't pinch any wires here as you're doing it. And that comes up through there. It kind of will fall in its own little place. It's got a little home. There we go. Just going to start that top screw by hand. The bottom one started. You want to make sure you don't pinch any wires. So I'm just going to get these close. And then I'll just go in by hand and tension them, make sure that this wire comes out like that. Now we're going to tighten that up by hand. On this side, it's good. Just doing by hand. Now we're going to flip this back up. All right. Again, making sure you're not pinching that brake wire right there. Let that come around the outside. That's going to wrap up into there. We'll put our two right on here like this. And get the drill. Again, I like to do the top one first, kind of get that sucked in there so that's a nice tight line. Get the bottom one in there. Now I'm just going to torque these. Like I said, we'll tighten them up to make sure they're good and tight. Angled the way you want them, yep. We'll tighten those up. And there you have it. Brand new Chicane grip. There we go. So as you can see, super fast install. You just need a couple of regular tools. They go on really simply. You're gonna love them. Go to Ciro3D.com for all the different fitment information, or even better yet, go to your local dealer and ask for Ciro Chicane grips. I'm Ken with Ciro. Thanks for watching.